I just got off work, so I figured let's put this in. So I'm gonna get the surfaces cleaned up, get a torque wrench down there. They're supposed to be like 30 foot-pounds. I'm gonna take the center section and I'll probably just bench press it up into place. I don't want to use a jack on it. So I will get the surfaces cleaned on both, get it down there, and then I need to lay a bead of black RTV. Let me do that and I'll get it up in there. Shouldn't be that big of a deal unless it's just so awkwardly heavy, but we probably got this. Oh gosh, this is gonna suck. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Oh, that was a pain. That's a hard thing to do by yourself. I'm not a wuss. That made me feel like one though. I feel like I could have lifted up in there, but it's just so cramped. I would have to lift like out here, like cantilevered arms, and the very first time I tried it, I hit the bead and messed it up, and I didn't want to do that again. So jack came out, and even then it was still tricky, but yeah, it's on. That was freaking heavy and awkward. That thing weighs more than the whole housing. So now I have to wait. So I'm supposed to put them on there finger tight, and then I wait an hour, and then I can torque them down. That's the instructions on the RTV. So I'm gonna let it go for an hour, and I'm gonna torque all those down to 30 foot-pounds, and then we can start working on the ends. Next thing I'm gonna do, guys, is take this axle seal and stick it into the axle and tap it in with this axle with the seal tool. Just tap it in there like that. Right there. Put this and tap it in. Okay, now they're tapped into place. I am going to get some grease, light grease, and put it on the seal for when I put the axles in. Axles are right here. And these will go next. And I'm going to do a little pre-gear lube put on these and get them in there. Okay guys, I got the seals all pressed in there and greased. And I actually did the whole brake on this side so that I could figure out how it goes together, which was some trial and error, so that I could show you guys how to do it without the error. So there it is, all set up. Now let's go do it on the other side. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do to prep this axle is I'm gonna throw some gear lube on these spines. I'm gonna rough up this bearing on the outside right here, and then I'm going to put a little RTV on there, on this as like a sealing surface per the instructions. So I'll get this sanded, get that ready, and then here is the brake assembly for this side, and you can tell because it says L for left. So I'll put this on, I'll take these bolts out because these bolts are not used, because I will use these T-bolts that came with the axle. So T-bolts will get used, not these ones, but it's really tricky on how to access all this stuff. So I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second after I get this loosely bolted up and get the axle in. Okay, just so you're aware, this is just set on here right now. This is the orientation. Every drum brake I've ever seen, the adjuster's been on the bottom, and that makes sense. The caliper's on the back, and the reason that I don't take this drum brake apart and then put it on afterwards, because I feel like there's almost no way you could get it on with the axle right here blocking everything, because there's not just this spring right here, there's one back here, and it would be a complete pain getting this stuff with the axle on the way. And that's why I did it. Maybe I'm doing it the hard way, maybe you guys have some ideas, but yeah. Anyways, this is all scuffed up. I'm gonna add some RTV and I'm gonna put it in there, and then we'll use the mallet to finish it off. Okay, you'll tell when you're hammering those in when they get solid, you've got it seated. Now the sucky part is this plate has to go back in there and then clamped, and then you have to use this hole right here to feed the lock washer and nut and get them all started, which is a real pain. And I ended up using this little dealio. It's got a magnet on it to help feed them in there. So now I'm going to struggle with that for a little bit. It will go back there. I've already done it. It's just, believe me, it's annoying and it's frustrating. And yeah, so it's gonna take me a while to mess with this, but I will do it, and eventually you will get it, I promise. Okay, I got them all on back in there, and it took me probably like 15 minutes. It actually went way faster than the other side. So yeah, I just fed them in through here and did the same thing with the washer. Kind of stuck my finger in there and turned it and got it started, and then cinched them down a little bit. So now that they're all in there, I'm going to switch to the torque wrench, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to torque each one to 30 foot-pounds. So this is what this access hole is for. Tightening those down, and then you just twist it to get to each bolt. So I'm going to do that and torque them down. One thing to notice on these calipers is that they almost look the same, but they're not. They are side specific. So you want to pay attention to the bleeder and make sure that when you're putting it on, the bleeder is up top. If you put the wrong one on, like if I put the one from that side on this side, the bleeder would be on the bottom. You don't want the bleeder on the bottom. You want the bleeder at the highest point. So obviously this is the highest point. This goes right here. Hit a snag. So I was struggling trying to get this caliper on this side, and I got a problem. Definitely have a problem. It's not hitting the shock anymore, only because the bolt for connecting to the caliper is out. The brake line right back there. I thought it was just this little nub, but it's actually, let me show you. It's this guy. This basically lands right against the shock. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna call tomorrow and see what they think. This is frustrating. Man, I thought it was just so close, because all I had to do is bolt that up and I can start doing the brake lines. Now I got an issue, but basically it's installed, and all I would have to do is just do the brake lines and fill it up, and it's done. So as far as the whole rear end goes, and even the brake install, it's pretty much done, guys. And you can just see that that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a call and find out what the solution is. And I'll keep you posted, but for right now I'm going to call this video as end of part 2, and then the next part will just be finishing up the brakes and finding a solution to that shock problem.